Philadelphia just made a sneaky good signing to bolster one of their biggest holes on offense, although it might not matter after what Jason Kelce said this morning. Plus, hear what Vic Fangio said about Jalen Hurts that hints at another step in the quarterback's trajectory, and the bird safety issue might not be an issue after all. I'm Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. The Eagles' offseason has been interesting to say the least. From expected departures we saw coming really from the start to the shocking trade of Gardner Johnson and the signing of some low-risk but potentially high-reward additions. Howie's 2025 free agency class has a lot of potential. He might have cooked, but there's also a lot of eggs being put into two very unproven baskets. First, though, the winner of the signed Zack Baun mini helmet never actually claimed it, so we're doing a redrawing, and basically you can enter by being subscribed, drop a like, and leaving a comment on any video this week. I'm going to go ahead and pick one of you randomly and announce the winner on the first show next week. Now, as it currently stands on defense, Philadelphia has some holes that definitely need filling. For instance, how about another edge rusher, potentially another linebacker due to Nakobe Dean's injury status, as well as a cornerback to compete with the young Keely Ringo. And last but not least, a starting safety with Gardner Johnson now gone. But I think safety is the real key here. Their entire defense and really the entire offseason hinges on that position, maybe more specifically one player who now is going to be a starter, and that is looking like Sidney Brown. Brown was the third-round pick back in 2023, and on an already bad secondary, that year showed some serious flashes before eventually tearing his ACL against the Cardinals late in the season and missing the rest of the Birds' disastrous 2023 year. Then, between rehabbing his torn ACL, watching Gardner Johnson get brought back in to take his starting job, and not getting cleared to play until this past October, a lot of Bird fans have forgotten that Brown was supposed to be the starting safety heading into 2024. And that right there has led a lot of people to believe that Vic Fangio simply does not like Sidney Brown. That Fangio somehow demanded the signing of Gardner Johnson to make sure he did not have to play Sidney Brown. When in reality, I think Vic was simply slow-walking Brown's return from the ACL surgery and giving him plenty of time to learn the Fangio way. Vic is old school, like we've known this. It takes a while for him to trust his players. Hence why it took, for instance, Cooper DeJean 2 months after his training camp injury to even see the football field, despite Avonte Maddox getting absolutely cooked early on in the season every single week. Fangio believes 100% in his young guys seeing an entire full training camp. You need preseason reps. You got to prove you're ready to play his complicated defense in real games before actually being handed the reins. And again, look what happened to Cooper DeJean. His delayed start clearly was for the best, as the Birds rookie DB improved with every single start and ended up being one of the best nickels in the NFL. Likewise, Jalix Hunt barely saw the football field early on in the NFL season, slowly got things working up, played here and there, and then once Fangio believed in him, basically became their third pass rusher and absolutely balled out in the postseason. When it comes to Sidney Brown, he's clearly not a finished product, and this offseason has got to earn Vic Fangio's trust. And I think it all evolves around him playing at the right speed at the right time. He's lightning fast, extremely hard-hitting, one of the main reasons why Philadelphia drafted him. But as Seth Joyner explained, he has a lot to learn in terms of throttling down to make sure he's going to be the right speed to make the right play in front of him.
Sidney Brown is 120 miles an hour all the time, and you can't play in the National Football League that way. You've got to figure out how to, know when to go 120 miles an hour and when to throttle it back to 60, and when to take it up to 70. And when to bring it back down to 50, and when to go back up to 90. That's just the way you have to play. Sidney is all out all the time. He's coming to make a tackle. He's either going to blow you up or he's going to miss it. He's got to learn how to, get his angles. In a lot of ways, football is geometry.
Also, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor for today's video, Exter. A little while back, I switched to one of these ultra-thin kind of credit card-only wallets, and this thing's been great, but the problem is it's so difficult to actually get the card out of the wallet, like I'm actually seeing it right now. You can't spread them, and getting them out when you're at the grocery store, standing in line, people are waiting behind you is super difficult. So when Exter sent me one of their Parliament wallets, I said, sure, I'll compare it, give it a try, and let me tell you, this thing is awesome. Exter's wallets can hold up to 12 cards plus cash, and my favorite part is their easy access button to get to your cards quickly, while also blocking all RFID wireless theft signals. The other cool feature is the fact it has this little slot in the back for this, which is a Finder card. Slide it right in there, kind of forget about it because it's basically the size of a credit card, and it syncs with Apple's Find My on your iPhone so you can know exactly where your wallet is at all times. And it's not just the Parliament wallet, they have a ton of different other wallet options, card-only options, and different colors on their website as well. And right now, they're having their anniversary sale, so usually you get up to 30% off your first order of one of their wallets, which is great, but my promo code ThomasMott via the link down below at checkout gets you 40% off your first Exter wallet. So if you're like me and you like small, thin wallets, but want to be able to get to your cards very easily, check out Exter using my promo code and link below. But with all this Sidney Brown doubt, who's to say that Vic Fangio can't turn him into a stud safety once again? This season, he's 100% healthy, gonna have a full training camp under his belt, and clearly right now has the opportunity to start. We all know the Birds were very high on him coming out of the draft 2 years ago, and now see him as not really a faster version of CJ Gardner-Johnson, but one who cost pennies on the dollar less. Now maybe Howie Roseman's plan is to draft Malachi Starks, or go with Lewis Seen, or just have somebody else besides Sidney Brown actually play the starting safety position, but I don't actually believe that. Maybe they take a safety, maybe they don't, but as of right now, to me, the entire secondary and probably the entire defense kind of hinges on Sidney Brown starting and hopefully playing very well. And the same can be said for the mirror image of Sidney Brown on the offensive side of the football in Tyler Steen, who again, we forget, was set to be the Eagles starting guard heading into training camp, but then hurt his ankle, Mekhi Becton took over, and the rest was history. And just like with CJ Gardner-Johnson, this past offseason, we said, oh my gosh, Howie, you cannot let go of Mekhi Becton, we need him to be the starting right guard, and maybe Howie Roseman, in the same exact way as Gardner-Johnson, said, guys, we have the replacement on the roster right now. He might be better than Mekhi Becton. Let's see what he can do. We don't need to go ahead and rush to replace him. And Steen is, yes, a different player, but again, a much cheaper replacement with a ton of potential going forward. And it's not just me saying this about Steen. Listen to Jason Kelce just this morning on WIP raving about Steen's potential at the right guard spot.
If I'm Tyler, I'm licking my chops. I got an opportunity here. And I think he was last year too. I mean, Steen last year, a big reason it went to Mekhi early is because he was hurt. He was out for like almost all of training camp. Like he had an ankle injury, and that's kind of when Mekhi started playing right guard and really got the bulk of the reps. And then Mekhi flourished with that opportunity. But I don't know that Steen did a lot to necessarily lose that position. I think for the most part, Steen played well in the games. He's a little bit, I would like to see him be a little bit more consistent. He's very good at times, and other times he'll get a little bit out of balance or he'll get beat. But he's a good player, and somebody I certainly am happy with going into a season playing.
Now, of course, if right now you don't buy Steen as the surefire starter, then the Birds signing today might be perfect for you, as Philadelphia inked former 2018 Eagles draft pick Matt Pryor to a one-year deal today to enter a growing list of backup offensive linemen. Although technically, Pryor did play in all 17 games for the Bears last season, including 15 starts at right guard. So there is a scenario where he's a real option to start if he beats out Steen during training camp. Technically, though, Pryor did get some reps at both tackle spots last season, and this move could be less of an indicator of the team's faith in Steen, or lack thereof, more of a versatile depth piece just in case. Remember, the Birds were one of the healthiest teams in the entire NFL last season, even with Mailata and Johnson missing some games along the O-line. Making sure one injury doesn't sink your entire season in 2025 is never a bad thing. Either way, I see this as a sneaky good signing with a ton of value late in free agency that only adds to the already strong offensive line. Now, obviously, Sidney Brown, Tyler Steen, throw in guys like Keely Ringo are all going to be what-ifs and question marks heading into training camp at the end of July. But the two best developmental jobs done by the Philadelphia Eagles this past season were in the secondary by Vic Fangio for Cooper DeJean and obviously Quinyon Mitchell, and by Jeff Stoutland on the offensive line for Mekhi Becton. So why can't they duplicate that with new players in Tyler Steen and Sidney Brown? Let me know y'all's thoughts on this down below in the comment section. Is there a player, maybe it's Steen, maybe it's Brown or Ringo or somebody else that you think has a ton of pressure? Will Philadelphia replace them? Give me your thoughts in the comment section. I'm going to read every single one. Now, flying back over to New York City, and the Russell Wilson era in Big Blue is officially underway. And if you thought a veteran quarterback might finally move the needle for the Birds' division rivals, well, apparently according to Vegas, you'd be wrong, as the over-under win set right now for the Giants after signing Russell Wilson stayed exactly the same as it was before, 3.5. And when you look at the Giants' schedule heading into 2025, well, there's a lot of really good football teams here. Do you see 3 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins? I don't think Russell Wilson moves the needle nearly as much as Giant fans are trying to tell you on Twitter. Juxtapose that with Vic Fangio's recent comments about the Eagles quarterback and Jalen Hurts, calling him the perfect quarterback that, quote, has no weaknesses. And we're really in the time in the NFC where the Birds have the best quarterback in their division by far. Like, sorry, Jaden Daniels, I think you were good last year. Got to see a lot more in year 2 before we even get close to claiming you as the best quarterback in the division. Like, what happens if Jalen Hurts becomes 10% better in the new Kevin Patullo system? It could be a very, very dangerous year for defenses. Now, in the serious news, the Birds officially announced yesterday they are ending their 28-year partnership with their pep band due to, quote, evolving on-field entertainment. Not sure what replaces them or what that means, but the band is gone and I'm bummed to see it go. Next, we also got a detailed look at Zack Baun's new contract, which again is now 3 weeks old, but we finally got the official numbers here, as it is, of course, a 3-year deal with a tiny cap hit in both 2025 and 2026, for the cap rising towards the end of the contract when Philadelphia is set to either restructure or move off of him due to the void years added on at the end. Essentially, Baun's deal is nearly a carbon copy of what Philadelphia did on the Bryce Huff deal 1 year prior. A 3-year contract with plenty of incentives and also a low cap number for the first couple of seasons. Which kind of reminds me that Howie Roseman is the GOAT of GMs right now, but even he misses once in a while, and still wild to me that Bryce Huff was a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl, yet people are saying Philadelphia's going to find a trade partner for him with this contract and that production. It's going to be very difficult as we approach the NFL draft. Now, obviously, we got plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks, but as we've said before, news right now, especially pre-draft, because we're not officially in April, it ebbs and flows a little bit here, so might have a show and then no show for a couple of days, then 2 shows back-to-back and then no show, so stay with me covering the Eagles as the news comes. Obviously, get in on the Zack Baun signed mini helmet giveaway by leaving a comment below. I will announce the winner officially on my first show next week, so as always, watch out for scammers. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out here on a Thursday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.